What's going on, everybody? Devil's Advocate here. Now, I swore that I was not going to make another COVID-19 video. I swore I wasn't going to. But here we are. I have to. And on another note, this is probably the last video I'm going to shoot in this environment. I've got a whole new setup that I'm going to use, and I won't make another video until I learn how to use my new expensive equipment. Put that out of the way. Let's get started. So by now, I'm sure a lot of you have seen a chart that's floating around on Facebook regarding CDC and mask wearing. And if you're not familiar with that chart, guess what? You're in luck. That chart is the thumbnail of this video. Just zoom in and take a look for yourself. So apparently Facebook got stuck fact checking the CDC. But I want to go ahead and break that down. As you can see on my thumbnail, it says that at no point did the CDC state that mask wearing was intended to protect the person wearing the mask, and that the mask wearing was intended to protect other people from an potentially infected person. There you go. I'm just going to set that aside. So for all of you out there, let's go ahead and make that clear. For all of you out there who wear a mask all the time, the CDC never said that that mask is there to help you. So if you're walking around with that mask on your face all the time, trying to protect yourself from other people who might be infected, that's not what it's there for, brother or sister. It's there to try to keep you, if your butt is sick, from making somebody else sick. So if you walk around and you see somebody else without their mask on, why don't you have your mask on? You're going to get me killed. No, brother. No, sister. According to the CDC, them not wearing a mask doesn't have a whole lot to do with you getting sick. Now, I don't even want to get into all that. The main reason I was prompted to make this video was the numbers. So if you look at the numbers in the diagram or the graph seem to allude to the idea that the more you wore a mask, the higher the likelihood was going to be that you were actually going to be infected with COVID-19. And if I don't get lazy, which I probably will get lazy, I'll try to link a few articles in the description below that I found regarding this topic. There was different researchers, doctors, scientists, other professionals who wanted to try to speculate and I guess try to rationalize why that may be. You know, whether the mask was causing people to, collect COVID-19 inside the mask. It was a bunch of weird stuff that didn't make any sense. But these are highly paid people trying to rationalize why of the cases in this chart, the people that wore the mask the most had the higher likelihood of having COVID-19. So I looked at it and I said, now, because you got to remember, correlation does not necessarily mean causation. So I was looking at it, and then it didn't take me long. I said, this makes complete sense to me. My personal perspective on this chart, what I think people are looking at, and as far as I know, I'm the only person that has thrown this perspective out here on why that chart looks the way it does. I think that chart is an indicator and shows a picture of how that individual lived their life as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? So think about this. Think about the type of person who either A, rarely wore the mask, or B, never wore the mask. Think about what that person's usually doing. That person usually says, usually that person is more than likely the type of person that says, either A, I think this thing is a hoax, or B, I'm just not worried about it. One of the two, right? They don't take it seriously, which means that they're doing their best that they can to go out and continue their daily activities, leave the house, interact with people. So their overall well-being is probably better. They're probably in a better physical position. And because of that, less likely to get the COVID because the body's stronger. Does that make sense? So the people that wore the mask most of the time, or even worse, the people that wore the mask all the time, they had the worst numbers. The people who wore masks all the time had the worst numbers for catching COVID-19. And to me, that makes 100% perfect sense, because those are the people who are doing exactly what I said that you should not do. Stay inside your house all day, wearing down your adaptive immunity, not interacting with friends and family. All the things, not getting direct sunlight. So the things that you're doing that wear and tax your immune system, making you more vulnerable and susceptible to infection. So these are the people who stayed in their house most of the time and only went out when they were supposed to, or only went out when they absolutely had to. And guess what? They step out, they're exposed. They get infected. Because guess what? Guess what that mask didn't do? That mask doesn't save you. That mask doesn't save you from the outside. According to the CDC, that mask only keeps an infected person from giving it to somebody else. That little cloth covering doesn't keep things on the outside from coming in and infecting you. So if you spend all your time inside your house wearing down your adaptive immunity and beating yourself down and making your overall well-being compromised as a whole, now you put yourself in a prime position to get yourself sick. Does this make any sense? People are trying to rationalize that chart, and to me, that chart made perfect sense. Perfect sense. But that's it. I wanted to see if I could just throw my perspective out there so people could look at this and be like, okay, that makes sense. So, round turn, overall, that chart is not inaccurate. I think it paints a perfect picture of the type of people that were sick from COVID-19. Those who lived their lives and those who chose not to live their lives. You live your life, you're less likely to get sick. You get scared and you hunker down, you're more likely to get sick. Make perfect sense to me. And that's all I got.